Good morning. I hope everybody's having a great Sunday. It's a beautiful day, a little bit cloudy, but other than that, amazing day. I wanted to give an update on the conflict utility because I know it was still giving me being able to parse these file locations was still kind of an interesting thing. I've got Gen 2 code in there, version 2 code uh, for creating the paths to the mod organizer 2 files. I'm currently going to test that. I'm going to have an offsite test here, hopefully this upcoming week, and then if it works there, then I'm going to go ahead and release the latest version. But I wanted to show some of the things I added to it. Uh, during the kinda past couple days where I was testing, because I was doing on the custom library cleanup, which that's an ongoing process. I added, I think, some new functions and just kinda tweaked it around a little bit. This right here is really the default theme, and there is no theme. This is just some base colors I set when I create the controls. But I have looked at this, and I think what I am going to do is I am going to have a default theme. Therefore, if it cannot find the theme, because the theme usually is related to a game. So if it can't find that, I wouldn't want to keep, let's say, a Fallout 3 theme if I'm in Skyrim. And since this is definitely foreshadowing in the conversation, that's what's going to happen because I don't have those themes. I don't have like the Skyrim themes, but then I don't have the default theme. So, and the default theme would be just a text file. This is what's actually coded in the program. All right. So this should have been Skyrim that comes up. So let's go ahead and take a look at the plugins. And these right here, I haven't really, these are generated by the load order library. So I'd have to look at this and actually see what the problem is. I think it's because it's not looking at the version information here. I think it's not fully testing this. So this is something I'll need to look at because I usually only tested the games I was playing, and that honestly for quite a few years now has really been Fallout 3 and some Vegas, but mostly Fallout 3 and, well, actually mostly Fallout 4 with just a little bit of Fallout 3 in there just to break the tedium. But, so I'll need to go through and clean these up and make sure that, everything is as, like they used to say, my dad used to always say, it's copacetic, has gotta be copacetic. He always says, "Is it copacetic, son?" And, of course, I was a kid. I'd be like, yeah, sure, whatever." Okay, so that being said, this actually is loaded Skyrim. So I want to put like a name up here, maybe Skyrim or something underneath here, so that way a person could literally see. Because there's no indication other than this. You'd have to really look down here, I think, to show that it even loaded Skyrim. Let's see. At least I think I put it in here. Yeah, see here? So every time you swap a game, and I was thinking, well, I was thinking that, well, if you have, since it does work, since the game library can open multiple games, and the formats are defined in the formats file, and then the parsing code kinda stays the same. I did had to make one additional change for, I think it was Oblivion, and it's probably gonna have to apply to Starfield as well, but I'll have to wait and see when I break that apart because I haven't really looked at I think I have some basis for, like, parsing game saves, but that's coming up. Okay, so this is Skyrim's data. So literally, I should be able to go in here and do because it loaded. This is Skyrim 32-bit, and this is probably only going to be. This is the conflict thing for only just the base game. That's what this is. Um, so let's go ahead and so what? And I thought, okay, so I wanna close that out, but, okay, so anyways, back to what I was saying. So, I'm thinking, "Okay, I've got this thing up and low I got this thing loaded, so why not just swap between the different games?" And at first, I thought I would just put a drop-down menu up here, just a simple Windows control, but then I realized I was sitting there thinking, like, "Wait a minute. I actually have a canned report in the custom games library that I can use, just copy and paste right from the mod helper app, just copy and paste the code directly over, no changes because it uses the same exact piping system, so it should work. And in the key maps, I've set it up to be control Q. You can set it up. You can go into Q map. You can go in the key map and change it to whatever whatever works best for for each user. But I just have it set for Q just to test it. And what it does, if you notice, it brings up the exact same thing that is in Mod Helper because that is canned in Mod Helper. And this is not just a list. It's actually a report like every other form that you see open when mod helpers open. Those are just all canned reports that each come from the various libraries. So any application can call them. You just have to use one single function, one single method call, which says open form, and then you pass that array list, that list that it generated to that form, and you have your report. It opens up a form. But you can see where the reason I like this is it has version information. And you can go into the report. You can actually look at the report, the RPT record, and then you can just put whatever fields you want, the fields that it actually manages, and then you can put as many fields in here or as few as you want. But that I thought that was that would be that'd be an easy way to see it. And that way I wouldn't have to just simply have a drop down menu and then another thing up here to literally say it's, like up here it would be like Skyrim version such and such, because you can literally see here. So we're in Skyrim now. So what I want to do is I want to switch to Fallout 3. Now Fallout 3 does have a theme. And the only themes I have are going to be for Fallout 3 Vegas and Fallout 4. And you'll see why I was mentioning a default one here in a second. So I don't think there's any textures here. Textures, yeah, there is one. So you can see where there was a texture that was updated. This texture, and I'm not sure what it's not even texture. It looks like it's a text file. But you can do meshes. And I still have to go in and put the code in. I need to put the code in there to extract these automatically, so that way you could double click on one of these and bring this up so you could actually look at them. That's coming. It's in the list of things to do. It just takes time to get to it. But you can see that's Fallout 3. And you can go to, let's say, Fallout Vegas. And I had to fade this form in and out because it would flash whenever the theme would update and change the colors. Whenever it refreshed, it flashed. And it looked kind of tacky. All right, so let's see if there's any textures in here. Yeah, see, so there's Vegas. See, so there's Vegas, and that shows. So you could do different things like this. So Vegas is right there if you have it. Now, one thing, once I test out the Gen 2 Mod Organizer 2 pathing, which is in that one file. It's in that game control file. Once I make sure the pathing is correct and that little bitty chunk of code is correct, then I'm going to switch over and start looking at Vortex. And I know someone who also uses Vortex, where I can just simply just hop over there and I can test it out right on the spot. And it'll be easy for me to see what works. I can take the code with me. They've got Visual Studio, and I can do all the debug and everything there. So you can see it works for Fallout Vegas. We can skip to Fallout 3. I mean, Fallout 4. We'll bring that up. That was a pretty good sized modded game. Oh, and all the plugin stuff does work. I should have brought that up each time, but all the plugin things do work. You can actually see once it's loaded and it's ready to go. So all the plugin stuff does work. I went ahead and I went ahead and changed the code in the load order library to not remove these headers, because I did have it set up to where it tries to say, okay, if this doesn't look like it's a valid plugin name, clean it out. So I left them in there, and that way it gets picked up by the system. You can actually see the headers like you would normally see it. Okay. And these, and everything still kind of works where it still has the, the error messages. And I can add more error messages or warning messages. They're real easy to do because all of that is in the data structure, and then the report just looks at the structure and says, okay, I need to do this. Okay, so let's take a look at, so I think with Fallout, I think it was like Workshop. There was a lot in there with like Workshop. You can see that. And this way you don't have to exit out of the utility. See, you still have Workshop. So I'm pretty sure Morrowind, I don't think this is going to work, but we will give it a shot. See, I don't think it's gonna work because I don't think I have the formats to parse it yet. Yeah, there's no format to parse Morrowind, so that won't work. All right, Oblivion, and you notice how the theme doesn't change because the Morrowind, Oblivion, Skyrim themes, they don't exist. At least I haven't defined them yet. It's just a text file. It's just a small little text file. It just has color codes in it and things like that. Okay, so let's see. Is there any textures in here? Let's look through. No textures. Let's try 'em. Okay, let's take a look. There's meshes. So you can see where Oblivion parses just fine. And most of these I had to I had with Oblivion I had to go in and add one field that I could pass to the parsing function which extends the format. So it's looking for, let's say, a TES4 format, but it's a very, very specific. It's like the very first TES4 format. And I had to kind of extend that off to Oblivion. Skyrim works. Regular Skyrim should work. This is the 32-bit version of Skyrim. And I think that uses like BSA version 104. I think it's version 104. I forget. I think Oblivion was 103. And then Skyrim is like 104. So we can do, so you can see any conflicts there in Skyrim. And then we have the Anniversary Edition. Let's get this one up. This one, yeah, that one didn't work because I actually had to change the pathing in the game config.ini to point to the correct folder because it was still thinking it was Skyrim Special Edition when Skyrim Anniversary Edition was simply Special Edition with some Creation Club content. That was the difference. And then this is just because I'm not really sure what to check. They're not really even modded, I don't think. Let's take a look. Yeah, see, they're not even modded. And this is a version kind of a thing. See the version? I have to check the version info because I haven't really checked in Elder Scrolls, so it probably thinks the version is out of range. Something in here is out of range. Is probably this. So I'll check all the I can fine-tune that later. It doesn't hurt anything. It's just a warning saying that, maybe this plugin is out of date or it could be the wrong plugin. So sometimes the wrong plugins get put in there. So that's all that is. There's a warning. It's no big deal. So yeah, I can take a look at that a little bit later. But that's where I currently stand with it. And this will actually show different games. So maybe now Starfield, I'm positive Starfield won't work. I'm not even gonna try that. It's gonna use the fall. Yeah, we'll test that one later because I'm not sure what's gonna happen. I have never even tested Starfield because I just got the game like not too long ago, and I haven't really done it. I don't think there's a single format for that because I'm not even sure what the format is, so we won't even try that. But it does work with the Fallout games. Morrowind, I'll have to parse the BSAs. That needs a format. Starfield, I need to put the format in there. It's just a text file where I go in and say, oh, if it's version 1.05, it should work just fine, unless it's an extended version where they add some fields. Yeah, they kept the 1.05 version, but they added extra fields to it. They did that with Skyrim and Oblivion. I noticed that with the BSAs. So I actually had, I think it was 3 different formats for it. One, I think, was they went to 105 for Skyrim, and then I think with Oblivion and Fallout 3 in Vegas, they used the 104. But from Oblivion to Fallout 3, they added they changed the field, I think. I think it was a field size change. I think they added a pad in there or something, or they changed the I think maybe they changed the file size. I forget. But, yeah, I pulled it off the wiki. But, yeah, so that's where I'm at so far. You can actually use this to switch to the different games that you're playing, and you can switch back and forth. And, yeah, it should work okay. I don't know if it would work with, to do something to actually do remote troubleshooting, to do something like that, or localized troubleshooting from a remote location without having direct access to that location would require a pretty massive database of all plugins. But if that was possible to where you literally would have terabytes, like a NAS drive set up where everything is extracted into just terabytes, then it would be possible to debug just about any application as long as you knew which plugin was in the load order, but it'd have to be the specific plugin because some would update. And that's kind of an interesting thing to tackle when I think about it. It wouldn't be too hard to extract it, to have a server set up, so to speak, that has all of this stuff extracted off to it, like a local NAS box, which you extract all these files, which is going to be massive. It's going to be incredibly massive into the terabytes. It might even start approaching petabyte or even higher, which that's not really practical for, just the average user, but it does open up possibilities. All right, well, I'm gonna hop off here and kind of get the morning started. I got some testing lined up to do. I've got to test want to test a friend's legendary, no legendary, being he's got that. He's coding that up for everybody, so I'm gonna run it through, see, just kind of test it for him, see how it works, and get some feedback for him. And I've got some downloads I need to do. And outside of that, yeah, it's gonna be a nice easy Sunday. All right. I'm gonna hop off here. I hope everybody has a great Sunday and a great week to come.